Hi, my name is Philip Schlenoff, and I'm here to talk to you about a new innovation in manufacturing technology called 3D printing. And this presentation was adapted from a talk by Wyndham Graves, a research assistant at the Facility for Arts Research here at the Florida State University. And the general idea of 3D printing is to start out with a model and end up with an object. And you can generate that model two different ways. You can scan a person or an object, or you can use computer-aided design. Then you print the object using the 3D printer you have at your disposal, and it's yours to do whatever you want to it. I'm going to talk to you about a couple common methods of 3D printing. The first being fused filament fabrication, and this is probably what you've heard of. Just like a 2D printer, but it prints with plastic and upwards. And you can print with stuff like nylon or plastic. A more complicated method of 3D printing is powder printing, and it starts by laying down a base of powder, selectively binding that, moving that down, laying a fresh layer of powder, selectively binding that until you have the height of the object you want. And you can print stuff like cups, bones. You can even print with sugar. And people want to 3D print for a variety of reasons, one of those being commercial applications. For example, this custom iPhone case, or this replacement lower jaw. This is actually an example of a titanium replacement jaw that was printed for someone who had their lower jaw removed during surgery. There's also uses for set and prop design. If you've ever seen the new James Bond movie, don't worry, all those Aston Martins were not actual Aston Martins that were blown up. They were just 3D printed models. There's a lot of research going on in 3D printing, such as nanoscale research for medical or electronics applications. And there's actually printing the backbones for the electronics themselves. Now, we can't print a computer from the ground up yet, but we can print the plastic backbone for that in a custom shape to then put the electronics inside of. My favorite is regenerative medicine. Now, this is a bit of an exaggeration, but there are researchers working on printing the scaffolding for organs, or actually printing with cells themselves to generate new replacement organs in the actual shape. And this one isn't a joke here. Instead of sending all the equipment out to mine an asteroid, people are talking about sending a 3D printer out to then print the equipment to then mine resources from an asteroid. And my point here is that 3D printing has applications anywhere from the nanoscale to something that can mine an asteroid. And there are a couple commonly available resources, actually more than a couple. There are many commonly available resources online if you want to get into 3D printing. Thingiverse.com is a database of tens of thousands of objects generated by users and uploaded that you can print out at home. You can make anything from, for example, this pull-string helicopter to replacement parts for your appliances. And if you don't have a 3D printer, shapeways.com will print your object out for you. You can send them a model and they'll print it out using a wide variety of materials such as plastic, even stainless steel. In your town, there's also probably something called a makerspace, which is a collaborative effort to bring together tools and experience. And there's some research going on here on the FSU campus into 3D printing. We've got a ceramics extruder, which is an effort to extrude ceramics to make very tough custom objects. There's also people working on prosthetics to print custom-shaped prosthetics for people that have lost limbs. And there's the MMAP project, which is a normal 3D printer, but on a much larger scale. You can actually print a kayak end-to-end on this thing. And this is for scientific or engineering models. So 3D printing is very cool. I hope you get into it. And thank you very much for your time and attention.